Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again on this second Lunch with Guidance presentation that we are hosting. I am Sarah Bateman. I am the College and Career Specialist here at West Orange, and today's Lunch with Guidance is going to be specifically about the college admissions process, timelines, and kind of really any option after high school that can be about college. For those of you who were unable to join us in real time, this is being recorded and we will post it on our YouTube channel. But let's go ahead into the presentation. I do have Mrs. Walker and Mrs. McManaman. They are two counselors who are manning the chat. So if you do have a question while I am presenting, please know that somebody is referencing the chat feature. If you want to hold off your questions till the end and I can answer them, also I'm happy to do so as well. So what are your options after high school in specific for college criteria? So there are, it's not just four-year colleges after college that a student can, after high school that a student can attend. That is the most recognizable one, which is the bachelor's degree. But students also have the availability of starting at a two-year college or state college, and they can earn an associate's degree. Within the associate's degree, there's actually two degrees that a student can earn, which is an AA degree or an associate's in science degree, which is an AS. I will go into both of those options in another slide, as well as technical school is an option for a student outside after high school if they don't want to get a bachelor's degree or an associate's arts degree, as well as military academies. So those are really the four type of opportunities for students in the college field after high school. So the first option for students is transitioning and graduating from high school and going right into a four-year college, most notably, which is a bachelor's degree. Students are used to one class in high school being one credit. In the college sector, one class actually equals 3 credits. So when I say that a bachelor's degree takes 120 credits, it's not 120 classes that they have to take. Each class is usually about 3 credits. Some classes with a lab, like a science class, might possibly be 4 credits because there's an extra hour associated to that class. So to be considered full-time in college, and a bachelor's degree is about 4 to 5 classes. So within a semester, a student could potentially be earning 12 to 15 credits in a semester at a college. Usually your first 2 years in a bachelor's program is you're doing your prerequisites or general ed classes, and then typically your junior and senior year in college is devoted to your major or area of study that you will be interested in and taking. After bachelor's degrees, if you are a lifelong learner or the career choice that you want to go into, you could very well transition to a graduate school, which could be law or medicine or counseling. In a graduate program, you can earn a master's degree, a specialist degree, a doctoral degree, or even a postdoctoral degree. So there's many options even after just earning your bachelor's if your career choice requires you to do extra education. But at a minimum, a bachelor's degree takes 120 credits. Some students graduate high school and they don't transition to a 4-year college. They actually transition to maybe a community or state college first. And so students who transition in this manner are usually going to be working on their associate's degree. Again, at the state or community college, one class does equal 3 credits as well. And again, a typical student who are taking a full-time load in college are taking 4 to 5 classes. So again, it's about that 12 hours or 15 credit hours that they're earning per semester. At a community or state college, you're working on your prerequisite or your general education coursework. That coursework and prerequisites are actually the exact same classes that you would be taking at a traditional 4-year school in a bachelor's program. And so we'll talk about the pros and cons of possibly starting at a community and state college versus going straight to a 4-year program. If you are interested in starting at a state college or community college first and earning your AA degree, that is the degree that you're going to be focusing on if you are wanting to transfer to a 4-year college, like a UCF, a USF, University of Florida. Students who want to earn an AA can transfer then to a university. Students who just need to, for whatever career choice that they're working on, some students don't need to earn an AA. They can actually earn an associate's arts or associate's in science degree, and then they can enter the workforce with a college degree, which an AS degree is a college degree, and that really is going right into the workforce. I have a few examples here on the screen: pharmacy technician, medical coding, dental assistant. There are careers out there that you actually do not need a full bachelor's degree. An associate's of science can be the prerequisite that you need to go right into the workforce with the college degree. Most of our students do graduate high school and go towards the AA degree, but just know that the associate's in science degree is also an option for you. So within the Florida college system, I kind of said this in the other slide, most notably in Central Florida, Valencia College is known. However, there's 28 additional community or state colleges in Florida. State colleges and community college are kind of used interchangeably. A state college is really said because they actually have 4-year degrees. So Valencia is no longer a community college. It actually has 2 4-year degrees on their campus, a nursing degree and a business degree. So they are no longer in the community college category, they're in the state college category. And most notably, there are a few colleges throughout the state of Florida that are now considered state colleges, no longer community college. But I wanted to show this graphic to show you that it's not just Valencia and Florida. There's a plethora of options for students who want to graduate high school and start in a smaller environment in a state college or community college before transferring to a 4-year program. The state of Florida has a 2+2 pathway program. In the Florida college system, again, there were those 28 community or state colleges, but Florida's higher education system is designed to allow students to successfully pursue a bachelor's degree by first earning an associate's arts degree at a Florida college system institution and then transferring to a 4-year institution. So I want to take a moment and kind of talk about the most well-known programs that students do after high school. Valencia College has a fantastic relationship with the University of Central Florida, the UCF Knights, who are here in Orlando as well. So if a student graduates high school and then transitions to Valencia and they earn their associate's arts degree, their AA degree, then they can transfer to UCF automatically in whatever term that they need to, whether that falls in the fall term, spring term, or summer term. They're guaranteed admissions to UCF. Some of our students who want to start and go to UF or FSU or USF or any other university in the state of Florida, they can start at any of the other community or state colleges opportunities. But every kind of major university we have in Florida, they have kind of a sister school within the same town. So Santa Fe College is located in Gainesville, which is pretty close to the University of Florida. Now, if you see, I have red asterisks on the screen in the note if they have room for a transfer student. So if a student starts at Santa Fe College and they earn their Associates of Arts degree and they want to transfer to UF can accept them if they have room for a transfer student. So it's not a guaranteed admission into UF because they will have to have room. A little hint and kind of helpful conversation I have with students is typically the other universities have, outside of UCF, usually have room for a transfer student in the spring term or summer term. Typically, the fall term is very, very hard to transfer into with an AA degree because that's that rising freshman class that they were just admitted the year before. So colleges have a lot of December graduates. That's why spring term opens up, and then they have a lot of spring graduates, and that's why summer terms open up. So a student who actually goes to Valencia and earns their AA degree, they don't have to go to UCF. It's just guaranteed admissions to UCF. A student can get their AA degree from Valencia and transfer to any public university in Florida, whether that be UF, North Florida, South Florida. It's again just if that college has room for a transfer student. So the guaranteed admissions is to UCF, anybody else if they have room for a transfer student. Again, students do not have to navigate this on their own. At the state and community colleges, Valencia, Seminole State, Tallahassee Community College, there will be advisors on that campus that help students with the transfer process. So please do not feel like you or your student will be alone trying to navigate this. At each of those state colleges, there is an advisor that can help transferring to the sister school that they might have a relationship with, or really any public university in Florida. So what is the differences or pros and cons about starting at a graduating high school and go straight into a bachelor's program, or graduating high school and maybe starting at a state or community college? First and foremost, the tuition price. It actually is much more, it is less expensive courses at Valencia or Santa Fe or Seminole State College than it is at a UCF, UF, or FSU. So the cost of tuition at a state college is less expensive than a 4-year school. With that being said, kind of what I referenced in a slide earlier, what the courses that you'll be working on, your prerequisites or your general ed courses that you would be doing at Valencia, would actually be the exact same classes at UCF or UF or FSU. So the class size is different as well. Speaking at Valencia, and the state colleges, they really limit their class size to about 45 or 50 students, which is more than a traditional high school setting. But that exact same English class, so I'll use freshman composition as an example. Freshman comp, which is taught at Valencia or UCF, it's the exact same course. At Valencia, your class size might be 50 students, but at UCF or UF or FSU, that class size could easily be in a gymnasium or in a large auditorium setting with 150 students, 200 students, 250 students, because those are prerequisite courses that every freshman and sophomore have to take. So the class size and tuition are definitely something that I talk about with students, that it's a little bit more beneficial if you are not an independent learner and do need to have a little bit more guidance in a class to possibly transition from high school and go to a state college before you transition to a 4-year program. Admissions requirement. It is not as competitive to get into a state college as it is to get into a 4-year bachelor's program. Really, to get into a community or a state college in Florida, you need to have a 2.0 GPA, which you have to have that for graduation, graduate high school, and then they might have prerequisite testing that they would do after admissions. But that's really it for admissions into a state college. Whereas in the UCF or UF or FSU, you're going to need to have test scores, an essay, letters of recommendation, a GPA that is competitive. So it is a little bit easier to get into a state college and then transfer to a 4-year college if competitiveness is a worry of yours on your transcript. To have the traditional college experience, of course, you're going to have that at a typical university setting with sports and clubs and organizations and dorm life. So if a traditional college experience is very important for you to have, you will have that at a 4-year program versus a 2-year program. Now, that doesn't mean that Valencia and Santa Fe and Seminole State does not have clubs and organizations. They actually do, and they do have sports as well. It's just not the D1 or D2 that our students are used to seeing or want to experience. Depth of study, I have them both circled because a lot of times students and parents think that a student will get a lesser education at a community or state college, which is absolutely not true. I could actually argue for the prerequisite courses that the student is going to go to, they'll actually get a more enhanced education in a class size of 50 than they would in a class size that is 150 to 250 students. Also within the bachelor's degree and at larger schools, an adjunct professor could be teaching it, or an intern of some sort could be teaching the lecture style classes, whereas at the state college, it's going to be that specific professor teaching the course. Salary wise, if a student earns their associate's arts degree or an AS degree, they absolutely can go straight into the workforce and begin being a professional and earn a salary range, a salary. However, if a student stays in school longer and gets a higher degree, which a bachelor's degree, 4-year degree, they could earn a higher salary. So absolutely, a student can enter the workforce with an AA degree, but if we're looking at trying to earn the highest potential salary that we can, a bachelor's degree would support that more than an AA degree. Technical college is an option for students. So we talked about the bachelor's program, then we also have the 2-year program in the state college sector, but we also have technical college. So most notably, knowing in the technical college range, that is Orange Technical College in Central Florida. There are many technical colleges across the state of Florida. Again, Orange County is very well known for Orange Tech. A technical college specializes in different courses and programs that focuses directly on teaching skills that apply specific careers. So just like an associate's of science degree, a student can go to a technical college and they are no longer having to do math, science, history, or English classes. The classes that they're going to be taking at technical colleges, hands-on experiences that get them training right into their particular program of choice, and they get a career industry certification or a industry certification. And with that kind of technical college degree, they can go right into the workforce with experience and training in that particular area. Orange Technical College and Valencia actually have a relationship very similar to Valencia College and UCF, where if a student is an Orange Technical College student in a particular program, 39 of them, or they're in an apprenticeship program through Orange Technical College, they can actually earn their certification and earn their complete the program at Orange Technical College and then transfer to Valencia and not have any of their credits or certifications be lost. It's in addition. They'll transfer over and they can earn an associate's of science degree along with their certification at Orange Technical College and then go into the workforce with a college degree, which is an AS degree, associate's of science degree. So there's lots of relationships in the state of Florida between the different college programs, and I definitely wanted to speak about how important technical college is to those students who are going into those specified fields. In addition to all the 3 options that I just talked about, the service academies the military service academies are a fantastic option for the students who are interested in doing so, as well as who are interested in possibly having their entire college paid for. With that being said, it is very competitive to get into a military service academy. However, they are a great avenue for some of our students who are wanting to serve, but also earn a college degree after high school, as well as serving in the military. So each one of the military branches do have a specific academy that students can apply for and be accepted into. If you get accepted into a military academy, your tuition, room, board, everything is free to you. You do not pay for anything while you are earning your bachelor's degree at one of the service academies. With that being said, you are obligated to then serve in the military after you graduate and essentially have earned your free education from that branch. But it's a great opportunity for some of our students. Just know that it is competitive. The applications are open, and one of the most important pieces of your application is actually you do need to be nominated from a senator, a U.S. representative, the vice president, or the president. Please know that the hundreds of students who go to the military academies do not have to specifically know members of Congress or know a member in the Senate. Each senator and each congressman have kind of a form that you can fill out to request to be nominated, and then they work with you on behalf of, or starting a letter of recommendation on your behalf. So it is okay if you don't know a senator or a congressman. There are policies and kind of step-by-step tutorials to getting that handled for one of the military academies. But this is a great opportunity that not a lot of people know about, so I definitely wanted to take a moment to speak about this with you. So within the state of Florida, we actually have public universities and we have private colleges and universities. So what is the difference? Most notably is funding and tuition. So at a public school, when I'm saying a public school, I'm talking about UCF, USF, North Florida, South Florida. We have actually 12 public universities in Florida, and they receive their funding from the state. And typically, not typically, in-state Florida students receive a lower tuition at a public university because you are considered a Florida resident. If you are a student who wants to go to a public university in another state, let's say it's Texas A&M, or you want to go to Georgia Tech, or you want to go to LSU in Louisiana, you are welcome to do so. Just know you will be paying an out-of-state tuition. Whereas if you stay in the state of Florida at any of our public universities, you will be paying an in-state tuition. Private schools, we actually have double the amount of private colleges and universities than we have public in the state of Florida, and their funding is from endowments and donations. So typically the tuition price at a private school is a lot higher than a public school. However, please never go by sticker price alone. It might look like it's more expensive to go to a private school, but private schools are able to offer very generous financial aid packets to students, as well as they meet a lot of financial need to our students who might who are in lower income households, or they financially are not able to afford school, whether it be in a public school or a private school. But private schools typically are able to get much higher scholarship packages to students. However, their tuition is higher. So you definitely have to lay out all the pros and cons with when you're receiving your scholarship packages from your accepted colleges, and really figuring out, okay, at a public school, this is how much my tuition is and room and board, but versus the private school. And please never don't do not apply to a college because you feel like it's going to be too expensive for you. You don't know the scholarships or aid that will be presented to you when you are admitted as a student. And so it's always great to still apply, because you never know the money that can come to you. On the size, typically a private school or private college or university is smaller than a public school. I can say in the state of Florida, definitely our private schools are smaller. So if you're a student who does like a smaller student to faculty ratio and you do better in a smaller environment, a private college or university might be for you. But students who are more independent learners and are okay with being in a class of 120 or 130 students, that would be more of the public school options for you. Courses and majors. Typically, public universities have a little bit more and a wider selection of majors and interests that students can take or major in. I will say most of our private colleges and universities in Florida have a robust major opportunity or areas of interest. And so if a student who starts at a public or private college and they decide to change their major, typically in a public university, you might have more majors to choose from. But I will say our private college system, they definitely have a wide variety for you to choose from as well. And again, I just want to reiterate, always apply to whatever college that has the program that you want or the school that you want to go to, and just know that scholarship packages are a part of admissions, and that never don't hesitate to apply to a college because of the sticker price that tuition has. Each college has a like a net price calculator on their website. It might be on the admissions website. It might also be on the financial aid website. But there will be a net price calculator that you can actually put in household income, or it asks a few kind of need-based questions to see what scholarship packages or how much the tuition would possibly be if you are given a type of financial aid package for that college. So it's a great tool to use. So in Florida, here are the 12 public universities that I was referencing, most notably Florida State, University of Florida, and University of Central Florida. Those are the biggest university systems that we have, public universities here in Florida, but we do have 12 of them all throughout the state. I will go ahead and apologize. I know that these numbers are very small on your screen. I try to make them as big as I could. But if you want to, when you're done with this presentation, you can simply Google Florida Counselor SUS Matrix and it will come up. But I also have the full matrix on our school website. If you go to the Student Services tab and then go to College and Career, it's a hyperlink on our school website as well. But this shows you averages of GPA, SAT, and ACT scores of admitted students in the Florida Public University system. So out of these 12 colleges, my FAMU did not present their data in time, so their block is actually empty. So I can't say specifically to what the GPA, SAT, and ACT status is for that school, but all the other 11 universities are represented. If you see S, that means summer term, and if you see F, that means fall term. So those are the average GPA of admitted students for fall and summer. For my seniors and senior parents who are in this presentation, within your application, you don't have to some colleges do ask, do you want to start in summer or fall? You're going to be evaluated for either term, whether you say you want to start fall or whether you say you want to start summer. All of these universities will fit you into the term that academically match with where you are kind of landing in that application cycle. So that is why students could be accepted into college for a summer term or a fall term, but the college will pick the term that you will start. You don't have to self-identify that on the application. What I will say too, in this graphic is take a lot of this information, especially GPA, with a grain of salt. A lot of times students think that this GPA that colleges are represented are the exact same GPA that's on your transcript. Unfortunately, it is not. Most of the universities on this screen recalculate your high school GPA to an algorithm or a data point that they kind of use themselves. Most of them are just looking at your core academic classes. So they're not calculating in all of the electives that you have on your transcript in high school career. Electives are very important and they want you to have, well, you have to have electives to graduate, but they will recalculate your GPA specifically by looking at your core academic classes. So if you're looking at your transcript and you're saying, oh, I have a 4.5 GPA and that falls right within the range for Florida International University, just know that they've recalculated this data and this is just looking at your core academic classes. Same thing for testing for SAT and ACT. All of these schools super score. So super score means that they are only looking at your best SAT math score and your best SAT English score over a multitude of testing times that you have taken. So this isn't for one setting. These are super score scores, meaning that they will only see your highest in each category if you've taken the SAT or ACT more than 2 times. Students above these numbers do get into these schools, and just know that students below these numbers and data points do get into these colleges. These are the averages. And so this is the middle 50% of admitted students on this screen. Like I mentioned before, we actually have almost double the amount of private colleges and universities in the state of Florida, and here they are listed. I'm not sure how well you can see the little black dots on the Florida graphic, but this is where most of the private schools and universities are located. So more Central Florida and kind of South Florida on the eastern side of Florida. But these are the other private colleges and universities. They also have a printout of averages. Their screen is going to be much smaller than the SUS matrix, the Florida Public Universities matrix. I tried to make this as big as I could. They're called PCUF. It's the Private College Universities of Florida. This is also on the school website at the same spot. If you go to the West Orange website, the Student Services tab, and then the College and Career tab. They have not released the class of 2021's data yet. This is still the class of 2020. So as soon as we receive the updated class of 2021 data point for PCUF, I will be uploading that to our website, but this is still, again, this is for the class of 2020. They have a few more information data points on this layout than the SUS matrix does. But what I really like about this is it does show tuition price on this screen, but it also shows the ample financial aid packages that that average students receive at each college in the private university or college here in Florida. So this is a great piece of information to go off of. Again, they also recalculate GPA usually by just looking at the core academics. So again, the GPA that you have in your transcript might not be the exact GPA that they are recalculating. So just be aware of that as well. So around the nation, of course, we don't just have colleges in the state of Florida. We do have the best colleges of U.S. World Reporting re-ranks colleges every single year in September, and they're considered the top 20 universities or top 20 liberal art colleges around the nation. So I will take a moment to highlight this. The national universities are listed here. Most notably, it's the Harvards, the Dukes, the Yale, the Vanderbilt. They're pretty well-known universities across the nation, and they are on the ranking system from U.S. World Report ranking. And again, this list doesn't typically change very much. Maybe one or two colleges each year will either leave the ranking or jump on, but typically speaking, these are the 20 that pretty much get ranked pretty high in our nation's university system every single year. The liberal arts colleges aren't as well known, but that doesn't mean that they're not just as competitive or as amazing as the Harvards, Yales, and Notre Dames of the university system. Liberal arts colleges are very well known around the nation, and they're smaller. So just kind of like thinking about the Florida public university system, the liberal arts colleges are kind of like private schools in the fact that they're much smaller than the nationwide universities. So again, if a student's looking for more intimate and low student faculty ratio, I would think a liberal arts college might be for them in a smaller setting. But any student who in their senior year gets admitted into one of the top national universities, a liberal arts college, or in the military academy, OCPS has something called the Super Scholars Program, and they will be considered that graduating class Super Scholar, and they will be recognized at the end of the school year. All the Super Scholars across the district kind of, unfortunately, the last couple of years it has been virtually, but each school gets to represent who their super scholars are, and they get to then say what college that student was accepted into, and it's a big celebration at the end of the year, and it's hosted by the school district, and it's part of their Super Scholar initiative. But that is if you get accepted into one of those schools that were ranked on the two previous slides. But I do want to take a moment to talk about what is the difference between a liberal arts college and a national university. Again, I referenced in the liberal arts colleges, it is a smaller enrollment size. So the campus will be smaller, and your kind of the courses and classes that you're taking will be a smaller student to faculty ratio. Liberal arts colleges expect students to be knowledgeable in a wide range of subjects and develop skills that translate to a variety of situations. The big key words for liberal arts colleges is collaboration, because a lot of the coursework in classes at a liberal arts school is more discussion based than really a lecture based, where a national university would be like at a Harvard or a Yale. So just know your class sizes are smaller, which means there's a lot more participation on your behalf at a liberal arts school versus a national university. They typically only offer undergraduate degrees. So typically at a liberal arts college, you might just be able to earn a bachelor's degree. If you are going into an area of a master's or a doctoral degree, you would most likely transfer from a liberal arts college when you're done with your bachelor's degree to another college. Again, small classes, and it's discussion based. I have on here, it's a fantastic video on YouTube. It's only about 6 minutes long. You can either type in the code that I have highlighted, or if you just go to YouTube and just in the search area say, what is a liberal arts college? It's 6 minutes, and it does such a great job explaining a liberal arts college versus a national university college. So it's definitely worth the time if you want to dive more into those options. At a national university, it is going to be bigger. Usually they have 20, 30, or 40,000 students at a national university campus versus a liberal arts college. Lots of research opportunity at a national university, as well as the focus is bigger on athletics, and you're kind of more anonymity on the campus, meaning your student to faculty ratio is a much larger ratio than it would be at a smaller campus like a liberal arts college. So how do we get into college, which is the million-dollar question? So college admissions, whether you're staying in the state of Florida or you want to transfer or get accepted into a college outside of the state of Florida, college admissions is really going to something called the holistic approach, which means they're looking at you well-rounded across the board. It's not just your SAT or ACT scores, your GPA getting you into college. That is a factor, and that is a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the only piece. They really are looking at your extracurriculars or your clubs and organization involvement that you do outside of the classroom. Your college essay is definitely a piece within the college admissions. Letters of recommendation is a big piece now too, along with test scores and your GPA. So they really do want to know who you are as a full person, not just how you are doing within the classroom or on one standardized test of SAT or ACT. So I cannot stress how important it is for a ninth grader through senior year that getting involvement in anything outside of the classroom will be very beneficial. You do not have to do all four of these categories: clubs and organization, sports, community service, or part-time job. Those are just all the categories that you can put on a college application. Again, it's not required to do all four, but it will boost your resume and it will boost your college application to be involved in one or two of these aspects. Do we have students who do all four? Absolutely. Is it necessary to do all four? No, it is not. We always get the question, is sports better than a part-time job, or is a part-time job better than a club or organization? Colleges constantly tell us involvement is involvement. One is not better than the other. Each student has a different home life situation. Each student has a different skill set. And so really whatever the individual student can do and extend themselves into is really what that college wants to see. They don't have a preference on any one of these categories, because some students are very skilled in their sport, and because they are a full-time sports student at maybe West Orange campus as well as a rec team, they don't have time for a part-time job. Their part-time job is their sport involvement. And so that will be fine in the college admissions purpose. Some students have family life that they need to actually have a part-time job to help with bills or to help themselves be financed through high school, and they aren't able to do clubs or organizations. That's completely fine for the college admissions process because they have a part-time job. So students are, it's definitely individual to them, and it is just the most important thing that I want to express and that school counselors express is just involvement is involvement. Being involved outside of the classroom in any one of these categories is really part of the college admission process. Seeking out leadership opportunities is also really important. So starting in as a club member, possibly in a club or organization freshman or sophomore year, but when the leadership opportunities come up, like if you can be the president or vice president or secretary, those are all great kind of stepping stones for your resume to look like you're starting off within a member, and then you are transitioning to the president or transitioning to the secretary role within that club and organization. Do you have to constantly seek out leadership opportunities? No, it's completely fine to start as a member in freshman year and remain a member throughout that organization to senior year. They just want to see if you are able to become a leader, then take the opportunity to do so. And it's quality over quantity, meaning it's not beneficial for a student to start something for 4 months and then do something different for 4 months and then do something different for 6 months. That's okay, really, freshman and sophomore year. But come sophomore, junior, and senior year, they really do want to see that you have found the club or organization, or you found the sport or the community service opportunity, and that you're able to do it for at a minimum of a year or even multiple years while you're in college. So it's okay to test out many things because you won't know what you don't know and enjoy in the time. So it's okay to kind of skip around a little bit, but finding that niche is really important to show on your resume.
Right, what? Skip around and,
So with GPA, oh, I believe somebody might have unmuted themselves.
You just list the ones that you were involved in.
so don't overdo it.
Don't have access to see. Okay. Sorry, everybody. We'll go back to the presentation. Okay, so GPA and strength of schedule is also really important outside of getting involved in extracurricular or involvement outside of the classroom. So colleges will review 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade coursework. In addition, if any student takes middle school, high school level classes in middle school, that is also part of a student's high school transcript. So grade wise, the very last year that a college will see full credit of scores and final grades will be as of junior year. Colleges will see and will require to know the student's senior schedule. So having still a high rigor and competitive senior schedule is part of the college admissions process. But grade wise and GPA wise, the end of junior year is really the last data point for grades and GPA for a student's application. Many colleges will ask for a mid-year transcript to evaluate senior year grades. That's typically out-of-state colleges. Some of our in-state universities or public colleges will require that, but most are out-of-state colleges. Strength of schedule and success in course is key. What do I mean by that? So
Yeah,
Dual
that's what's
enrollment
important.
and AP classes are available for students here at West Orange, and it is important to try out AP and dual enrollment. But more importantly than just trying them out, the colleges want to see success in the course. So if you're a type of student who has mostly honors on their schedule and you take one or two AP classes, that's great, and you showed success in that. And then the next year you might increase your rigor by, instead of taking two AP classes, you might take a third AP class. Colleges are not expecting, nor do they want, a sophomore or a junior, or really even a senior, to have only 7 AP classes on their schedule, and that's it. Colleges want students to take the rigor and the strength of schedule that that learner and that student can handle. So please do not feel like you need to have 7 AP classes junior and senior year to get into college. You absolutely do not need that. What you do need to show is that you can have a competitive schedule, meaning you have a few honors classes in AP or dual enrollment, but that you showed success in those programs. So again,
Really?
it's not overloading yourself, it's success. Acceptance
Honor
into a college is conditional, meaning
enrollment,
that a
that's
strong senior year and no dropping courses. Unfortunately, sometimes seniors feel like once their acceptances come in November, December, or January, they're like, oh, I get accepted into college. Now I'm just gonna, take out all the classes that I was taking spring year. Again, when you submitted your application in the fall time, you showed your senior schedule, and part of your admissions to that college was your full senior year coursework. So again, they still want you to have a strong senior year and not drop your semester 2 classes, because they will see that on your final transcript when you send them that in May or June.
yeah, they're like, oh,
So strength of schedule, as well as the courses that you take in the activities that you are in high school, are all parts of the piece of your college admissions. What are colleges looking for? These are kind of the buzzwords that I hear every single year when they're doing college visits with me, or I'm in training with college representatives in the springtime or fall about the graduating class that they had just admitted to their college. And these are kind of the buzzwords I hear over and over and over again. Students who show creativity, they're innovating, they have passion, they have leadership, they have curiosity in their learning and academics, they might be ambitious, they're socially or globally aware, or their civil engagement, meaning, the community service or the different areas within the community that they involve themselves in. I have some examples down here about how these words have fit in on a student's resume or extracurricular activities. It could be starting a new club, organizing a school-wide community event, leading a club or organization, that leadership piece, captain of a sports team, even having a part-time job could very well fit into some of these categories that are on this screen. So sometimes it's not literal what these words mean, but kind of the holistic look of these are kind of the buzzwords that colleges have been using over the years when they're using the holistic approach, evaluating students and admitting students. When to apply. So it's really important to know your options on who to apply to, but like, when do you actually apply? So for my senior parents and seniors who are in this meeting right now, and it is in September of 2021, right now, you are applying right now to a 4-year bachelor's program or a military academy at the beginning of your senior year. Really, it's the first 9 weeks of senior year. So between August, September, October, or November, you are submitting your application to a bachelor's program or a military academy. If you are a student who might transition and go to a Valencia or a state college or a community college, and you want to then transfer to a 4-year program, the Seminole State, Valencia, Santa Fe, all the other 28 colleges that were represented earlier, their application cycle is actually throughout senior year. and they don't have an enrollment capacity. So that's why you can apply throughout senior year. Versus if you're wanting to go straight to a 4-year college program and earn your bachelor's degree after high school, those universities and colleges, whether it's public or private, they do have an incoming space capacity that they have to meet and that they have to adhere to. So that's why their timelines and competitiveness is different than if you're transitioning to a state or community college after high school. So, of course, with everything else, nothing in the when to apply is the same either, just as the competitiveness of GPA or test scores across the other colleges. So I do want to take a moment to talk about the timeline. Even though right now is when a senior needs to apply to a bachelor's program, there's also different type of application cycles within these next couple of months. So rolling admission. Rolling admissions means that a student who applies to a rolling admissions college is getting evaluated in real time, and they're able to get acceptances quicker than a regular decision college. So a rolling admissions in the state of Florida is the University of Central Florida, University of South Florida, FAU, FIU. There are more, but those are the biggest universities that have rolling admissions in Florida. And it means that their application has been open in August, and every day that goes by, they have been admitting students in real time. So a student typically can apply to UCF, and within 2 or 3 weeks, will know if they've been admitted. So every day that goes by, there are less and less spots available in a rolling admissions college. So the longer you wait to apply to a rolling admissions college, the more competitive it's going to be to get in, because there's going to be less spots every day that goes by. I have this in bold red at the very bottom of this slide. Still need to apply early. Don't wait because there's a spring deadline. You could theoretically, in August, UCF's application is open and they don't close their rolling admissions application until March, April, or May. Just because they have a March, April, or May deadline, I can promise you there are not going to be spots in March, April, or May. Please apply to a rolling admissions college as early in senior year as you can, because that is the best chance of getting in, because it will not be as competitive. Your chance of admission will be much stronger when there are more spaces available. So again, do not be swayed by that May 1st deadline. You really do need to get it into a 4-year college program, that application by November. I could really argue for rolling admissions by October, but within the first 9 weeks of your senior year. Also in Florida, there are colleges who aren't on a rolling admission status. They're on a regular decision admission status, meaning that when you submit your application, you're evaluated all together in a lump sum, and you'll be notified on the exact same date. So the best example I have for this in the state of Florida is UF and FSU. Even though their applications are open right now and a student can submit their application today, tomorrow, October 1st, it doesn't matter. Their application deadline is November 1st. They don't look at anybody and they don't evaluate anybody until November 2nd onward for a few months. So even though their applications are open, it is to no benefit for a student to submit their application a few months in advance, because again, they evaluate everybody in one setting. Whereas in the previous example, UCF, their application is open and they are evaluating students right now every single day. So in a regular decision opportunity, again, students submit their application throughout their regular decision open window, but the admission board reviews all application and send out decisions on the specific date. So it's really important to be on top of regular decision time periods. I always tell my students, yes, theoretically, could you submit your UF or FSU application on October 29th? You absolutely can. That is still very close to the deadline. I try and tell students to do it by the 20th or 25th, because realize that students across the nation are trying to be admitted into the state of Florida system, just like if you're a Florida student trying to go out of state. The closer you are to the deadline, the more likely thousands of students are admitting at the same time. Sometimes the site breaks down, sometimes the site closes, sometimes it's too much traffic for the admissions department to have everything in an overnight setting. So don't feel like you need to apply months in advance to November 1st, but if you're applying by November 20th or October 20th or October 25th, you should very well have all of your information in by the November 1st deadline. But just know, come November 1st, that is their deadline, and you really can't submit anything after that. There's also early action and early decision application cycles. So students apply early and receive decisions earlier than other students. So some colleges do have regular decision, but they also have early action. Early action is non-binding. So that means a student can apply in early action, but they can not be legally bound if they are admitted to that college, having to go to that college. Early action students just want to hear sooner than the regular decision cycle. And so if this college is really on your list and it's one of your top 3 colleges that you want to be accepted into, and you're able to apply in the early action cycle, it definitely is something that you can do. And is beneficial to know earlier than particular students who are submitting their application in the regular decision cycle. There is early decision, but early decision is very much for the student who knows for sure 100%, no matter if the cost is $5 or $1 million, if you get accepted to this college, you will be 100% going to this college. That is when you will be using early decision. It is a binding contract, which means when you're submitting your application, you are signing an additional waiver and part of your application saying that you understand that if you are admitted to this college, you will rescind all other acceptances and all other applications, and that if this college picks you and admits you, then you are going to that college or university, no matter the cost. So some students who get accepted in an early decision college and they might not get the financial aid package they had thought that they were going to get, you are signing a contract saying that you are going to go to that college. So if you use that price calculator, and even if the highest scholarship package is given to you,
if you get
are still going to not be able to afford that college, I would definitely recommend applying to that college, regular decision, early action, or rolling admissions, so that you're not bound by having to be admitted into that college. So again, early decision is for students, no matter the price, no matter the location or area of study. If that is your number 1 college and you're going to go to them regardless of price, that's when you would use early decision. But early action or rolling admissions or regular decision for those colleges are just fine, and are more beneficial than having to be financially tied to a price that you will not be able to afford. So where to apply? So there's no assurances or absolutes when it comes to college admissions. You could look perfect on paper. You have all the outside classroom experience. You have a great GPA. You have a great test score. Your essay is perfect. And you might check all the boxes on a college kind of admissions requirement. Again, as sad as it is, there are really sometimes shocking rejections and really sometimes unexpected acceptances. So really, I can tell you, I get this asked all the time, what do I need to do to get into this college? I wish I could say that this is exactly what needs to happen, or I know counselors answer this question all the time. There's nothing really specific I can say to you. I can give you the best advice, which is part of this presentation. But who really decides if you're going to get admitted to a college or not is really that admissions committee in real time, evaluating all types of students that have applied to their campus that school year. So typically speaking, the best piece of advice is picking who should you apply to is 2 safety schools, 2 match schools, and 2 reach schools. So 2 safety colleges would mean that after looking at their GPA and test score requirement, that your GPA and test score and academic qualification exceeds their kind of data points or above the average for that college, and that you have a really great chance of getting admitted into that. A match means that you pretty much meet the average grades and average GPA and test scores for that college, and you have a pretty good chance of getting in, like 40 to 70% of getting into that college. Reach schools, it's still amazing, and I still encourage any student to apply to a type of reach school, meaning that you might be just below their average or just below academically what they're looking for. But again, you never know, and I would never tell a student not to apply to the school, because I'm definitely not making the academic assessment, nor is the student or parent. So it's really up to that admissions committee. And like I said, unexpected acceptances happen all the time. So it is okay, and we do encourage students to still apply to those schools that they don't think they'll ever get into, because you just might get into that college or university. Do students apply to more to 6 colleges? You're welcome to. Don't feel like you have to, but really the best kind of number is between 5 and 8 colleges to apply to, because again, making sure that you have those safety schools that you're applying to, the match schools and the reach schools, just better your chances of getting in to multiple colleges, or hopefully the college of your choice. So how to apply? Students apply digitally now. We are very much in a digital world. There are multiple platforms that students can apply to college. Most notably is something called the Common App, which more than 900 colleges across the nation is on this application platform. There's also a platform called Coalition, something called SynEDU, and there's also the Common Black College application site, which is the CBCA. This is actually a really cool site where a student does one application fee, which is $20, and you actually get to apply to all 56 HBCUs across the nation. So if a student is really interested in going to an HBCU college, the Common Black College app could very well be a great avenue for you to go down. You do not need to know how to apply to the college or know that. The college admissions website will tell you the platform that you can use and the type of application that is necessary to apply to that college. What I will say is I'll use FSU as an example. Florida State has a student can apply the Common App. A student can apply through the Coalition application website, and the student can actually also apply directly on FSU's admissions website. So just because there's 3 ways to apply to a college does not mean that you're submitting 3 applications. They only want 1 from you. So if it's through Common App, great. If it's through Coalition, awesome. If it's you want to apply directly to them from their website, that's your option. But do not apply to them multiple times. It does not increase your chances. Actually, you've just created more work for that college, so they do get ignored. They do get annoyed if students apply multiple platforms. Pick one platform, please, and take that and go down that way. Just because they have 3 options, colleges know that students are applying to multiple colleges in multiple ways. So that's why there's a wide variety of platforms to choose from, but they definitely only want 1 application. So please keep that in mind when you are strategizing which application platform to use or which type of application to use. But again, every college's admissions website will tell you the platform or the pathway to complete your application. A lot of resources are out there. Definitely myself, I'm a great resource and want to be a great resource for you. Your school counselor here at West Orange are great resources for you, but there's also a ton of resources outside of us here at West Orange. Score, that's a great launch pad. It's on every student's launch pad icon. It's SCOIR. It's pronounced score. It doesn't look like that, but it is pronounced score. But it has personality interests, something called U Science, which is a great program that a student can do. But within the SCORE platform, they can actually compare colleges across the nation to the students' own GPA and SAT scores. They can compare colleges, private schools, and public schools just in Florida, but they can also do it around the nation. There's about 3,000 colleges, 2-year colleges, and as well as 4-year colleges within the program of SCORE. It's a fantastic resource. Big Future, which is College Board, they also have a very similar search engine to SCORE. It's through your College Board account, and it's called Big Future. Even though I showed you the top 20 schools in the nation, as well as the top 20 national liberal arts colleges, the U.S. News Report also does the top 100 universities across the nation. So if you want to learn about more top 100 colleges, please do so. That's a great website as well. I won't go through all of these on here, but just know that there's so many resources out there and people that can help this really challenging and kind of intimidating avenue after high school. But if you're willing to seek out help and ask for help, I promise you there is help out there for you. Fee waivers. It's very expensive sometimes to apply to college, so our free and reduced lunch students are able to receive 2 additional SAT assessments throughout high school, 4 free ACT assessments. Your school reports can be sent to colleges for free, as well as your application fees to colleges can be waived if you're part of the free and reduced lunch program. You do have to reapply every single year. The application is still open this year for OCPS families. I do tell students that just because you apply for the free and reduced lunch program does not mean you actually have to eat lunch at school. You just, if you meet qualifications for it, your status changes in Skyward, and that allows your school counselor to be able to give you the fee waivers for testing, or we can waive the college application fees at the participating colleges. So please take a moment, parents, if you, it's a free online application on the school district's website. The directions on how to get to that is open and available for you, and it's a great way to have the application fees and additional testing taken care of. So timeline for my freshman parents, the best thing that your child and freshman that you can be doing right now is making sure that you have high rigor on your schedule, whatever that looks like specifically to you, whether that's just honors classes, honors and AP classes. If you're interested in dual enrollment, that's a great time to start sophomore, junior, or senior year. But the most important thing you can do for yourself freshman year is keep up your grades, be in honors and dual enrollment in AP classes later on in your high school career, and get involved in any type of club and organization, a sport, community service. I know some of you are 14 or 15 years old, so you might not get to be in a part-time job yet, but being involved outside of the classroom is really key starting freshman year. My sophomores, everything that you were working on freshman year, keep working on. But in addition to, in the springtime, we have colleges visiting us at West Orange. So making sure that you sign up for the college visits in the springtime of your sophomore year, and taking that PSAT that you'll take in the fall time. So in October this year, our sophomore and freshmen and juniors will take the PSAT, while our seniors are taking their SAT. Juniors, again, same thing. Keep up your grades, keep up being involved, keeping up with rigor on your transcript, meaning by junior year, you should be taking a few more honors classes or a few more AP classes, or being involved in a dual enrollment opportunity if that's something interesting to you. But just increasing the rigor on your transcript is something you can very much do, and it looks very favorable on a college application. College visits for you will begin in the fall time, as well as if you're able to physically go on campus tours, it's really important to have the feel and the look of the school. I can't tell you how many times students come back from a campus tour and they're like, oh my gosh, I love the campus and it made me fall even more in love with the college. And then sometimes it's like, I did not like the campus at all and I'm looking at other opportunities. So actually going on campus tours is a great indicator of if a college is going to stay on your list or be taken off the list. Juniors, you'll take your free SAT actually in the spring of your junior year in March time. So in March, OCPS will have you have a free SAT. And then if you are willing and able to take any SAT or ACTs on a Saturday in the winter months, the spring months, or the summer months, that would be the time will you test the SAT or ACT. Senior year, same thing applies from your freshman, sophomore, and junior year, keeping your rigor up, keeping your grades up, and remaining involved in all your outside classroom experiences is going to be key to remain your senior year. Seniors get a free SAT in October. So your last free SAT in school will be in October. But solidifying your SAT or ACT scores by really the start of senior year is helpful for admissions into a bachelor's program. College visits will be in the fall time again for you. So as a junior or senior, you can visit with colleges in the fall time, as well as finalizing your lists, completing your applications and scholarships. And it's great advice too that once you start getting accepted to colleges, if you haven't visited them, definitely visit the campus or visit them again, knowing that, oh, I'm actually potentially could be a student on this campus, and really continue your campus visits if it's readily available for you to do so. I know that was a lot of information. I am open up for questions now, so I will see if there's anything in the chat area that I can answer. But I do appreciate everybody being here, and I hope that this was beneficial for you. Let's see here. Okay, Mrs. Walker, Mrs. McManaman, is there a question in the chat that I need to answer or wasn't able to get to?
I think they were all answered at this point.
Okay. So anybody who is still in here, if you were holding off on a question and you want to ask it now, I'm happy to answer it as well, or myself or as Ms. McManaman or Ms. Walker can handle it in the chat as well. Great question. It says, somebody asked, is it better to wait until after the fall SAT to try and improve score, or go ahead and apply as early as possible for a rolling admission school? This is a great question. So when a student applies in the rolling admission time period, so again, that like August, September, October of senior year, on the application itself, the college will ask, are you taking any future SAT or ACT exams? And if your child is going to take a November or December SAT or ACT, then I say yes, still apply early in the rolling admissions process, because again, the competitiveness will be much easier than waiting until longer in the school year where there's less spots. And on that application, you'll put the test date or test month that that student's going to take it again, and they will keep that in consideration in the application process. He or she could look very good outside of testing, and they might admit without needing that November or December score. Or they might hold off on admissions, waiting for that November or December score, knowing that that student is scheduled to take it, and then we'll wait to admit the student if possible in January or February. But they can make that decision, but I would never hold off for testing purposes for rolling admissions. Apply as early as possible and just let them know that you're taking a future test, and they can keep that as part of their evaluation system. You are welcome. Are there any other questions that I can answer for the good of the group? Well, thank you all for joining so much. Again, this is being recorded and it can be viewed again. It will be uploaded to our Student Services YouTube account, and that link is easily accessible through any one of us counselors. It's also on our school website, and I know our PTSO has a direct link to it as well. But I hope everybody has a great day, and thanks so much for joining.